Nearly at the fence. Guess I better grab the steering wheel and turn this thing around. Not anymore, now that we've got auto turns! So, we announced this back at Agritechnica in November, that we were developing auto turns, and it's getting close enough that I reckon I can probably give you a bit of a quick run through. So one thing to note is that the turn shape you get is going to be different based on your implement type. If you've got a pivoted with an articulated tractor, or a sprayer, self-propelled sprayer, or a harvester of some description, then you'll get a different turn shape. So what I'm showing here is the turn shape for a articulated tractor with a air seeder. So just keep that in mind, that you'll possibly see a different shape depending on what you're doing. So the first thing is to enable it. So we come into System, Features, Guidance, and we get Headland turns. Now I believe that there's going to be an unlock code and fee for this, which I think you'd have to speak to your dealer about, but I just do engineering, so I don't know much about that. Now, if we have a look at the screen, we can see we've got a beautiful bloody curve drawn there. Now, like I said, this is for a seeder, so it is going to overshoot the turn to allow the implement to be back on the line nice and straight when we've made our turn. Now, there's a few different things you can adjust here. So if we drag up, you can see at the moment the red line, which is where the tractor drives, is going onto the fence. That's probably not ideal because that'll put the bar across the fence. So our settings are up in here, into the headland turns. We've got a few different settings to set up here. First one we've got is turn radius. Now, when you're first getting this set up, what I would tend to do is set the turn radius to be half the implement width. If I set it smaller, so you can see that's giving me a nice round shaped curve. If I set it smaller, so let's go to 4 meters, you'll see it's made it pretty square. Now the other thing you can see is there's this light blue line showing there. That designates where the turn will actually happen. So you can see it's coming up, turning, following along that line for a while, and then turning off it again. That's going to be a pretty sharp turn for my air seeder. Pretty sure I'll jackknife it, and that'll be a bugger. So let's set that back to 8 meters, which is a bit over half, gives us a nice bulge. Yeah, so that's a good turn setting, I think, for starting until you get a bit more used to it. For our sprayer, I run at a bit under half, so I get a bit of a square shaped turn. Works pretty nice. Next one we've got is turn line location. Now, like I said, you can see that light blue line. If I hit the button here, what that does is says limit it to half the implement width. So basically move my line half the implement width away from the fence. That's a good start. I want a little bit further away, so you can either just slide this, so it won't let me go any closer than half the implement width, but it'll let me go further away. So I want about 7 meters. Give that a try. Now, while you're first playing around with it, I'd recommend having it set to, so this is a 2 headland swath here. I'd set it to at least a swath, just to keep it away from the fence, get yourself used to it until you're happy with the turn. No point smacking anything into a fence while you're just setting this thing up. So right now I'm ready to go. That's everything I need to do. We can do some different patterns here. So if you want to do skip rows, you can say, righto, I want to do 1 skip row or 2 skip rows, and you can see it's just changing my line position down here. A little bit hard to see, but it is. And then we can do some different patterns. So we can do infill, single direction infill. Do we want to go left or right first? There's a whole heap of different options here. You'll have to play around with them or read the manual to really find out what they do. And really, that's about it. If I kick this into gear now, then you should see we'll give a double tap so it starts auto steering straight away. Now as you can see, it's giving me the distance to turn. There's an option here to change the direction, so I can switch it across. It's going to make the turn for me. Look at that, no hands. Swings around, looking out the back. Should get it pretty close as it starts to straighten onto the line. And then straightens the tractor up, comes back in, bang on dead square. That is beautiful. Heck of a lot better than any turn I've ever done. And very nice consistency too. So one other thing I'll quickly show you is up the top here we've got this button that shows the next turn direction. If you press on that, it'll pop up with this approaching headland turn setting. So from here you can actually set the skip roads, you can adjust that. I can change the direction of the turn. I could say I don't actually want to do this turn, I'll reject it. Or I can hit set up and turn this alarm off. An option there to have it initially visible or not. So basically as you come up to a turn, this alarm will pop up and it'll give you a bit of information about what's going to happen. And that's pretty much it. So there is a very exciting Topcon tip from Wall.